Oh, good Friday morning. It's Friday in Arizona, and I'm coming to you with the John and Dave Show. With the John and Dave Show in my white hat and blue V-neck. I hope you're having a good Friday. Good morning. Good morning from the kitchen of Heidi Powell. Got my Starbucks. I am ready. It's going to be a good day. Good morning. Good morning, Madison. Good morning, Once Upon a Dot. Good morning, Ari, Tasha. Goodness gracious. Once it hits your lips. Good morning, Planning with Sam, Mia. The gang's all here. The gang's all here. Should we find Mr. John Acuff? Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? I don't see him. I know he's alive. I just texted with him. Hi, Ashley. How's it going? You having a good Friday? Move your hats. Give the man the respect he deserves. Coming in live from Nashville, Tennessee, it's Mr. John Acuff.
There we go. Look at that.
Hello, handsome.
Hey, hat today, huh? Feeling sporty?
I got a white hat. Well, it's not as much sporty as it is. I forgot to get ready.
Okay.
We're doing a photo shoot here in a minute, and
really?
It's
a bourgeois kind of thing, like something sexy. Is that?
Nah. It is. It's almost like a creative content day. So like someone shows up and they are shooting a bunch of video content and then some still photography, and we just kind of like keep switching outfits, and someone keeps putting a piece of paper in front of us and says, "Hey, now you and Heidi are talking about," and we're like, "Hey, everybody," and we start dancing like monkeys, and it's fantastic.
How long is it going to take?
We start at 9:30. We end at 4:30.
Okay. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of
stuff.
It's a lot of things. We just keep on going from one outfit to the next. That's how we roll.
How many outfit changes will you have? Like Beyonce level, like 42?
Well, here's the thing. I was asked. I asked before I came, what do I need to bring? And they said, well, just wear what you normally wear. Like it's meant to be somewhat casual. I'm like, oh, so I've got
T-shirt.
I got a V-neck in blue and a V-neck in another shade of blue, and then a V-neck in gray, and one that's a little bit of a darker gray.
Nice.
It's all I have. All I do is V-necks. All I do is win. So it's great.
That's so funny. And you'll be in a hat for them?
No. I'm gonna go take a shower, but it's only 8:30 here. I mean, like the time zone.
Oh, you're in Phoenix. Nobody cares about Phoenix's time zone. Arizona is garbage on time zone.
Arizona doesn't change.
You have multiple.
It's so wild. It's nuts. The sun gets up here, by the way, at like 2 a.m. I feel like we're in Alaska. The time zone not changing has thrown off my ability to sleep because the sun starts coming in and you're like, is it the morning? No, it's still the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I never know what time it is in Arizona. When I get there, I ask somebody and they're usually sweaty. And I go, excuse me, sir, who's sweating? And they're holding a cactus, which is weird. But everybody there, if you've never been to Arizona, everybody carries around small cactuses.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah,
it's a dry heat.
Yeah,
it's a dry heat.
Yeah, dude. You can't tell your mind that when you look at the thermostat and it says 110. Like
117, dry, not dry, don't matter. It is hot.
No, that is crazy. So you're doing that today.
So I'm doing that today. We fly back to Texas tomorrow. We're taking a couple of Heidi's children, in part because my now 9-year-old had a birthday last week. We were having the birthday party this weekend. I want to ask, because we have set up a thing that has become somewhat of a staple in birthday party celebrating at the Hollis house.
Oh.
A 1.4 mile tall slide is being assembled.
I saw it.
It is a thing that is both terrifying from a liability standpoint. Please sign this waiver. Thanks for coming over. But is also like one of the most incredible things ever. What do you do when your kids have birthday parties?
Well, one's turning 18, what is today, in 5 days. So she's turning 18 in 5 days. So we're doing it. She wants to do a fancy dinner with her friends. So we got a table for 8 at a fancy restaurant, and then we're gonna be eating somewhere else in the restaurant to help them figure out the menu, because they're like, good. I know they're gonna be like, they're going to under order. And we're like, no, ball out. Like, you can get apps. This is the time, or whatever. And so I imagine Jenny will be coming over and going, no, it's okay to do that. And then, so we won't be at the table. There's no slide.
Smart.
But we'll be in the facility so that if they are afraid to order something, we can go, no, like, here's how to do that. Like, you don't order chicken fingers. Like, please don't order chicken fingers. Like, they don't have
an adult meal. Go for it. Yeah,
exactly. So they'll be all dressed up. So, like, that's what we're doing with this one. With your slide, I think it's nice because a kid can get some stitches as a take-home gift. Like
100%.
Some people do a gift bag. They can get stitches. That's fun.
The reality is, my house in the last year and a half has become something that, and I was joking about it, but it's actually serious. If you want to come over for an extended play date, I'm going to need you to sign this piece of paper, because I've got those go-karts in the back, and it's been raining a lot. So now it's a slick track. So you can get going, you can get going 25, 27 miles an hour on those babies. You flip one of those over, I know you got a helmet on, but Daddy can't be responsible.
Are they drifting? Are your kids drifting? Like, you got Tokyo Drift?
Tokyo Drift is happening in the background. For sure, 100%. No Vin Diesel, but there's definitely some drifting happening in the backyard.
Yeah, those kids are, like, going to get tattoos at this birthday party, I feel like. There's going to be a tattoo artist. Some, like, you live in Austin, it's going to be some hipster doing, like, anchors or something. Or, like,
Yeah.
I like that.
We've got a Mumford & Sons tribute band playing in the back. And no, we don't. I'm kidding.
Would it be Mumford and Uncles?
That was my Christmas party.
Like Mumford and Uncles? Do you think that? Like, what would you name a Mumford & Sons tribute band?
Ooh, that's good. Mumford and Uncles sounds good. I had a Mumford & Sons tribute band playing at the last Christmas party, and they all had just like everything you'd hope, like the long beards, checkered flannels, a hat that I couldn't possibly ever pull off.
They were from Austin, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
How do you form that? Do you just find 4 people in Austin and say, do you want to play Mumford & Sons songs? And they all do, and then you take them home in your car?
From what I understand, if you go down to South Congress Boulevard, and just shout the name of the band that you'd like to assemble, people just start like Mumford & Sons, and then all of a sudden anyone who
the Lumineers, I need Lumineers, and then like people come out and like, I got an upright bass, and then they walk in. Okay,
that's right.
That is convenient about being in Austin. It's rattlesnakes and hipster musicians. I mean, I live in Nashville. We definitely have musicians. I went to Garth Brooks the other night.
Face, by the way, what?
It's too bright. It feels too bright.
You look fantastic. You look like you're like aging backwards.
Like I'm on fire. I feel like I'm on fire.
You went to Garth Brooks last night?
No, Saturday night, and it got rained out, 0 songs. It got canceled. It was a 5-hour parking experience and no music. Dude, it was brutal.
Rolled.
It did.
Literally.
It did, and I was making as many jokes as I knew, and it didn't change anything. And it rained, and it was 75,000 people, and it was and the roads were flooded, so we couldn't get home because the roads were flooded. It was quite an adventure. It was quite. So there's my first question to you. What a segue. What's the last concert you went to that wasn't a Mumford & Sons tribute band?
The last concert I went to was Jay-Z's On the Run tour, or maybe it was Beyonce and Jay-Z. The thing I remember from it, number one, was that like they were the most prepared and incredible performers, but truly the thing that stood out was opening act DJ Khaled, who all he said over and over was like,
DJ Khaled.
I'm DJ Khaled. He just kept saying, like, I know that this is a very obscure reference, but like Ricky Henderson playing baseball back in the day would talk about Ricky Henderson in the third person as though he was not himself Ricky Henderson. DJ Khaled, same exact thing. Just
overwhelming. Is it fair to say that DJ Khaled says his name more than Jason Derulo? Like
Jason Derulo.
Yeah, exactly. What if you did that when you entered meetings? Like you entered a meeting, you're like, Dave Hollis, and maybe you do Mr. for branding. I don't know. Like,
God, I wish. I wish there was a little like jingle that went along with Dave Hollis.
Yeah. I mean, it's good money. It's good money if you can get it. It's good money if you can get it. So last concert, okay. Here's the next one.
And so you didn't get to go to Garth, but what was your concert previous to Garth Brooks?
Well, I'm going to the Counting Crows this Thursday, so I'm excited about that. They're probably my band. They're probably my band that I listened, like August and everything after. Like I wore out Round Here. Like Round Here as a moody high schooler was like, this is about me. Like I'm writing poetry in my room. Like I'm getting dumped. Last concert I went to a Dave Barnes concert, maybe 2 years ago. Thad Cockrell.
Thad Cockrell.
Saw Thad Cockrell, and he was amazing because he had just been on the Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon heard his song in a hardware store during the pandemic and was encouraged by it. And I was like, I've never heard this guy. Ended up putting Thad Cockrell on the Tonight Show. Thad was an inch away from quitting music because in Nashville, it's super. And he was telling his manager, I got to quit. He wrote this long manifesto, and he was like, hey, the Tonight Show just called. Jimmy Fallon loves your song. And so, like, that was
You never know what it's going to be. You never know what it's going to be.
No, you don't. But you know, unless you're in the arena, it's not going to be anything. Oh, so, like, you never know.
Real quick.
Let's see.
Can I introduce you to my little friend?
Oh,
yeah.
The first of many. This is the ground troops. There's more coming.
This is the beginning of a new me. A new me.
Who did somebody give you that, or did you buy it yourself?
Well, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't make it nearly as cool when I let you know that I got my leather bracelet at Disneyland. But
yeah, just say California. We got it in Southern California. Don't worry.
I got it in California. I don't care.
Yeah.
But no, I'm now wearing a leather bracelet, and I feel like, honestly, I need a string to go with it. So if you see it over the weekend, I'm testing things out.
I think you're like one step away from multiple leather bracelets. Like,
oh, trust me, I need a little wider one, a little thinner one. They're gonna be stacked.
Are you gonna have like business ones and casual ones where it's like I'm meeting with somebody who wears a suit, so this one's a little more formal, or are they all just? I mean, something to think about.
You know what's weird? I had a business meeting on Wednesday, wore a tie. I did do a pair of jeans on the bottom, so it was smart.
A little boy. They call that the boys to men. The boys to men. I get
little boys to men.
Little Motown Philly.
Yeah, back again. And I felt like a grown adult, but then I also realized that I looked still dissimilar from every single person that was in the room, and I was just fine with that. So I don't know. I'm just going.
What'd you do? Shoes. What were your shoes that day?
White sneakers, and they were very white.
See, I can't do white sneakers because they're white for like an hour. Like I live a pretty aggressive life, and so like stuff gets scuffed. Like just in general, I'm constantly scuffing things. And so white shoes.
I wore a pair of white shoes on a plane the other day, and then I put my foot under the seat, but it was under that little bar on the aisle. Pulled the white shoe out, and it was like, this shoe used to be white. It's now forever gone. It's done.
All that grease. No, forget. That's what I'm saying.
Done.
Were they woven leather or a sneaker? Like they weren't like Tommy Bahama.
No, not Tommy Bahama. I wouldn't dare. But it was a leather. I don't know that I would call it woven. It was like it wasn't patent by any means, but like it was a leather shoe. Yeah.
It wasn't ostrich or like snake or anything.
Oh no, I wouldn't dare. No. I'm not going there until.
Do you think you could pull off ostrich? You think like if somebody gave you, say like DJ Khaled was like, hey, Dave, thanks for coming to my show and watching me scream my name. I have some sneakers for you. You can't really refuse.
What does an ostrich shoe feel like? I mean, like the thing is, you could hand me one, and I'd be like,
they feel fast and scared, and scared. Very fast running, but then you hide from your problems.
I saw a woman who was like an ostrich whisperer, and I don't want to underestimate how terrified I was for her maintaining her life.
Where were you that you were around ostriches?
I was on my couch flipping through Instagram. Let's be clear, I watched a video, but it was still terrifying, even from the comfort of my own home. And I'm just letting everyone know, if you run into an ostrich, they're not friendly. I would just stay completely away from an ostrich altogether. Thank you very much.
Do you think Disney did that to us? Like Disney made us think ostriches? Were you part of the problem? I don't want to say you're part of the problem, but there's a chance you worked on an ostrich project? Because every time we talk, you go, actually, John, I helped launch the ostrich team. You remember Team Ostrich? Called it TO, whatever. You never worked on an ostrich project?
I didn't. I did work on G-Force, though, which was about guinea pigs or hamsters. And I want to apologize to everyone for that movie because.
Did you work on the Wonder Pets? Were you part of the Wonder Pets at all?
I didn't, though. I've seen the Wonder Pets, and they were actually I was able to make it through an episode as a grown human next to a small human. Let's put it that way.
Where are we on Wiggles? How do we feel about Wiggles?
I don't feel good about Wiggles at all.
Captain Feathersword? That was a little. I don't love Captain Feathersword.
I feel like I think there are some things that are happening in the Wiggles that are trying to infiltrate our brains that we're not even aware of.
Yeah, I don't. There's certain things I'm like, the name Captain Feathersword to me sounds. I don't like the connotations that it triggers in my head. So
there's something sketchy here. I've got my eye on you.
Okay. So this is a more serious question. Best part of the triathlon, worst part of the triathlon. You recently did a triathlon. Some people don't know that.
Okay. So the best part was appreciating that I could take something good out of something that was overwhelmingly disappointing. I knew going in a thing that I didn't even want to admit to myself, which was I did not prepare well enough for this open water swim. And I was terrified of it, in part because of ego. I didn't want to be embarrassed for not doing it well enough, but truly also in part because I like living, and the idea of drowning seemed like a bad way to make my living thing continue. And so when I was, like the night before in the water, the morning of in the water, I knew, holy cow, I just have to depend now on my physical strength and my ability to do hard things and mindset to overcome what was a lack of training. And when I took the kick, I was in a panic mode. I mean, I went about halfway down the mile long stretch, a half mile in, I took a kick, and I could not catch my breath. So the hardest thing certainly
was a mile swim.
It was a mile swim.
Woo.
So the hardest thing for sure was I had made a promise to myself and had suggested to anyone and everyone that I was talking to that I was training for this and was going to successfully complete it. And I didn't keep the promise to myself. I didn't do the work that it took to get into the water with the confidence that I would have needed or the skill that I would have needed to acquire. The thing that I'm so grateful for, though, was that I now have such a handle on what it will actually take to successfully complete this when I do it the next time, a thing I wouldn't have had an appreciation for if I didn't put myself in the water in the first place. And so for how that can be applied to, frankly, any part of my life, I love that, because it's I'm going to have to keep putting myself into situations where I might not yet be totally prepared. And I will likely not have an outcome that is perfect that first time, but I will understand better from reframing the failure of not getting it right the first time to know how to do it really, really well the next time I try to do it, which I think is just what a beautiful, beautiful thing to learn. And I got back home. If I'd come back home and had got the opportunity to tell my kids the story of crossing a finish line and completing a triathlon, it would have been a very quick conversation. There would have been a high five, and we would have moved along with our day. I instead spent more than an hour with all four of my kids captive to this conversation of, I didn't do the work that I should have done, and I'm disappointed for not having kept integrity with this thing I said I wanted and how I should have actually shown up. And I still kept going even after I got kicked and needed to ask for help, and asking for help was okay. There were so many little micro lessons in it that ended up making the experience in storytelling with my kids so much richer than if I had just done it well. So that was also rad.
And where was the open swim? Was it in a lake?
It was in a river. This is part of it. Which part of what was crazy is, so it's in
rivers have currents. Rivers in general have currents.
This is part of what's crazy. So the Snake River is where it was. And because there was current,
I'm already not liking this. The first name is Snake.
Because there was a current, my mind was like, you know what? You can get away with not having to do as much training because there's a current. You're going to be okay. And I convinced
body surfing. You can just catch a wave. Yeah.
I'll just float. I'll just go on my back and swim back. There were things that I'd convinced myself that I can overcome not having trained as well as I should have because there's a current. And the reality is that was idiotic. There is nothing like the experience of being in open water. And there was 2,800 people in this race. There were
Dude,
so many people.
The elbows, like
it was a
elbows.
mosh pit.
Yeah,
It was a mosh pit. Yeah. So anyway,
that's intense,
good times.
dude.
Now it was. The thing is, I look back on it now. We're almost a week removed. Like, it was an amazing experience, and it was also this insanely emotional up and down roller coaster. But it's also like, when I think about the kind of memories that I'll have 50 years from now, like, this is one of those things that I'm look back on. Remember that time at 46, I tried my first my first triathlon, and I had that thing happen. Like, this is going to stick with me. So that's, it's an amazing thing.
Well, speaking of open water and challenges, I recently interviewed the executive producer of the show Alone on my podcast. I have a podcast called All It Takes Is a Goal. It's all about goal setting, because I'm a goal nerd. He's the executive producer. If you've never seen the show, have you seen the show Alone?
I have, yeah.
Amazing show.
Yeah.
And I was asking him, and it was fascinating what he said people learn on the show about themselves and their demons and what matters and what doesn't matter, because there's no pen, there's no paper. You're by yourself for maybe 100 days. But I asked him, who would you pick if you had to survive with one person? You're out in the wilderness for a month, one person. So now I'm asking you, take Heidi out of the equation. That's an easy answer.
What?
You have to survive in the wild for 30 days with one person. Who are you picking?
I would probably pick
somebody you know. Like, don't go Bear Grylls or whatever. Like, that's a fake answer. Somebody you know.
Yeah, so I would pick my oldest male friend, a dude named Paul. And I actually, on Tuesday, had a coaching conversation about how hard it is to make friends as an adult. And I referenced this relationship I have with him because it has, in the friendship, qualities that I wish you could just manufacture when you have new friendships come into play. I actually, bizarrely, and I'm not trying to shine your shoes, but you actually have some of the things that I love about this guy that I've been friends with for like 30 years. And that is, we don't have to talk on consecutive days, but when I send a note, we can pick something up immediately. If I'm unavailable for a couple of days or you're unavailable, like, there's no judgment, because we both have an appreciation for how busy things are. But I love my guy, Paul, because he's the guy who I can say anything to, and he is able to receive it, hold it, and not judge whatever it is in a way that allows me to fully and totally be myself. And if I was going to be in an environment where I am alone, the thing I think I would want more than anything is to be able to feel like I could experience and get everything you're meant to get from that alone experience as me, and not someone I think I need to be to keep somebody that I'm with feeling okay, or posturing in any way, or any of the weird curation that takes place in social media, for sure. And so I just want to have somebody who's just like one of my people, who could see me and love me and accept me and listen to me, so that I could process and write and journal and do all the things that you'd hope to get out of an alone experience.
Why do you think it's hard for adults to make friendships?
Oh, I mean, I think there's a ton of reasons, but mostly I think it's like there aren't a shared set of needs. There aren't a shared set of values. So the things that I need in friendship and the things that you need in friendship are connected to how we are uniquely wired, are connected to the complexities of our schedule, whether we have a partner, whether we have kids, how much we're doing, right? And so my availability to reciprocate what you need in a relationship is dependent on you and I being in somewhat similar places. And so I think it just starts with, we're in different places, we have different drivers, we're differently, wired, but we also just have a lot of circumstantial stuff that changes how available we are to give what the other person might in fact need. Another thing, though, is we find ourselves somewhat a reflection of the people we spend the most time with. And so as we continue to evolve, I'm not the same person I was a year ago. And so the kind of people, hopefully always that's the case,
That's the goal.
That's the goal. But if I am moving, I'm evolving, if I'm actually someone who's on a growth journey, and the people that I've been in friendship with are in a status quo, I'm not necessarily changing kind of mode, then I will inevitably outgrow those people if I'm looking for someone in my circle to push me to keep moving forward. If they're stuck and I want to move forward, I got to find people that are also moving forward. And so I think it's just hard, because a lot of times it's like with time spent, there's value placed on that relationship, and more it needs to be, do we have a shared vision of what we're moving toward? Are we both in a growth mindset? Are we both interested in impact? Are we trying, and in a world where my life is super busy, do they have an appreciation of the busyness, and can they understand, right?
People can get really put out if they say, hey, I'd love to grab coffee, and you go, cool, can we do it in 3 weeks? And they go, whoa, so busy. Like, if that's your response, like, we're probably not going to.
It's not going to work.
Because like, it's not that I'm putting you off for 3 weeks. It's that I've got all these commitments that I'm trying to honor. And they're not like I'm on a yacht, like it's work stuff. Like, so that's the
one of the things I will say this. One of the things that I think I didn't have an appreciation for before, I took it very, very personally. And now I've come to totally appreciate it. Some friends come into your life for a season. Like, they are there to play a role for a window. And when they come and then go, their departure, whether you are the one that has to create some boundaries and step away and move forward, or if they're the one that's decided they can't engage anymore, it doesn't take anything away from the quality of the experiences that you had while you were in this friendship. It just means that that friendship has had its time come and go. And I think it's, like, it's an okay thing to both maybe be sad about the fact that you're not as close as you once were to this person, and also celebrate the fact that you got the time that you had when you needed it most.
When I think the other thing is there's layers where it's almost impossible to find somebody where the husband or the boyfriend, whatever, gets along with the other guy.
For sure.
Or the girlfriends get along. And then those people aren't raising jerks. Because we've all had friends where we're like, we're great friends. And then they have some kids and you're like, oh, these people are raising jerks. And when my kids spend time with them, they come home like a jerk. So like, I love my friends, but like, and then there's friends you would go to dinner with, and then like the deepest level is vacation. And you go, okay, like, let's call back to Disney. If you get up early, open the park, like the train comes in and you want to be there first, and they're like, let's sit at the pool and go ride one ride. And you're like, nah, that ain't our Disney speed, dude. Like,
right?
You find out who your friends are real fast when you vacation with them, and you'll be like, like, never again.
I've been on that vacation. I went on a vacation with couples to Cabo, and the first morning there was this knock on the door, like, we're heading down to breakfast. I'm like, it's like 7:15. We're actually on holiday. We didn't even bring our children. Like, what is happening? But like, they were very much like the camp schedule where like, we got to start at 7:15. We're going to maximize every hour, every day. And it was like, no, we're going to intermittently see each other by the pool. That's how this is going to go.
You guys are like this, then. You intermittently see each other we're going to run into each other in the lobby and go, hey, good to see
We'll see what happens. Like, we're on the same vacation, but also kind of on separate vacations too.
That's so funny. Yeah. So I think that's but I think that is part of it. Because the other thing is when you have a wackadoodle schedule, like you and I do, like, where like, if somebody goes like, hey, can you run? I'll go, yeah, let's do it at 11 a.m. And like, or like, let's do it at 2 p.m. But if they have a normal schedule, then that's a weird thing for me to say.
Yeah.
When I worked inside a corporation, I couldn't go do something at 2 o'clock. But if if you're working on your own schedule, then there's a different rhythm to it. I might be out of town for 2 days, but then I take a day off. It's all this kind of stuff.
I ran into this one not terribly long ago where one of my kids' friends had really great parents. And so I now get invested and am close to these parents. And then my son and this other person, their child, are like, they have a falling out. So now like the ability for me to stay engaged with these parents has been compromised by the little thing that's happening with my kids. So I'm like, all right, there are so many variables. Just hope that you get to have someone show up at the barbecue every once in a while and be happy
and hold on
in
to
that
it
moment.
Celebrate it.
Celebrate that moment.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Well, what a perfect place for us to end on. Dave, I'll respond to you. You texted me last night. I'll respond to you off of this about I get to see you in like 2 weeks. Actually meet you for the first time. You're gonna be so tall. I already have a real.
I can't wait. I'm gonna try and wear a shirt that has a pocket in the front so I can put you right inside and feed you bread. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Matt Chandler, this pastor in Texas, used to, like, if I'd see him at an event, he'd be like, "Have you gotten taller?" And he'd say, like, "Can I just hold you?" And I'd be like, "You," like, and there's no real, like, I go, what am I going to say? Like, "You have long arms." Ooh, what a terrible insult. Like,
I do want to tell you, I do want to tell you this just so that you don't, I mean, like, I am coming to see you, and like, you are the reason why I'm coming to town. I'm also going to go to Donald Miller's house after I see you, and I'm seeing Carlos the following morning.
That's an action-packed 24 hours.
I just don't want you to think, like, when you see me with other people, I'm not cheating on you.
Are you starting
I'm celebrating
with me?
with you. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like that's the right schedule. Like,
it is the right schedule.
I would want you to go to Donald's house after my house.
Yeah.
Like, I would want, like, my wife and I last night were like, "Can we fake our porch? Does that break it? Like, can I be like, oh, look at my porch? I don't live there. Like, can I have a stock photo porch?" And I was like, "No, it's just gonna be our regular." And then Jenny said, "Does Dave know it's hot in August in Tennessee?" And I said, "He lives in Texas.
I'm fine.
He's in Arizona. Like, he gets it."
You know what? The video person who's going to do a little bit of the shooting while we're hanging out asked if he should prepare for the banner to be in the background or not. And I said, "Oh yeah, just plan on the banner in the background."
It's actually attached to a belt. I travel with it. It's like a Steadicam, but it's a banner. So yeah, that is, at least until the next book comes out, that is attached to my book. I'm sorry. That's awkward. I don't know what to tell you. You should have a banner. You better bring a banner. Like,
I'm going to make a banner.
Oh, have some kids. This is handmade by children. People get real sensitive about that.
It's going to be a Patio of Peace banner. I'm going to put it up, and if someone is not being peaceful, like, look at the banner. It says peace.
Look at the banner. You're going to have a blast. Donald and Carlos, what an action-packed week. So, all right, Dave, have an awesome weekend. Good luck on your shoot today. See you, buddy.
Thank you, dude. All right, bye-bye.